Hello everyone, welcome to the blog Automation Home. Today I am going to demonstrate Appium installation process. So for the installation process, you need to have a set of software need to be installed to work with the Appium. Okay. First one is the JDK need to be installed on your machine. So search for the JDK download in the Google page and click on the first link. Here you can see the download button. Click on this download button. Okay. Here you can see the JDK Java JDK for Windows machine. Similarly, if you want to work with other operating systems like Linux, you can go here, and for the Mac, you can download it from here. So once you download JDK, once you download and install JDK, when you install JDK, JDK and JRE both are installed. Okay. Once JDK is downloaded and installed in your machine, JDK and JRE. So if you are just working with Java WebDriver for desktop applications, so Java client library for the desktop application, for the web applications, for the web application, only JRE is enough, no need of having a JDK. But when you are working with Appium, so even JDK is also required, because the software, the bunch of software which you install. So some of the software use the JDK. So when you install JDK, both JDK and JRE is installed. Okay. So once JDK is installed, JDK and JRE, you need to set the path for the JDK, okay, in the system variable. So click on the environment variable. So here, so you need to create a new system variable. Click on new. So you need to create Java underscore home, so copy this path up to JDK and paste it over and click on OK button. So as I have already have a Java home, so I am not creating another system variable. So I already created earlier. So this is the system variable which I created. So remember, while creating the system variable, so you should not place any semicolon here. So if you place semicolon, so you will be getting into other troubles. So where we place semicolon is, I will show you. So once Java underscore home is the system variable is created, okay. So you need to update the path. Here you need to add Java underscore home. So for the existing one, if it has any existing one, just add semicolon and add Java underscore home. So which is, we already added a Java underscore home. In that Java underscore home, we need to point to the bin. So program files Java JDK, in that I need to point to the bin. Already up to JDK, the path is already present in the Java home. So I am using Java home /bin, points to the JDK bin. So here is the bin, and here you need to add semicolon, and I mean you need to end it with the semicolon. Okay. So this is JDK installation, creating a Java_home and setting the path for the JDK bin is done. So, once you are done with the JDK setup and configuration, next one is to download the Eclipse IDE. So click on the first link. So here you can see the different types of Eclipse IDE. One is for the Java developer and Java EE developer. So I have downloaded Java EE Eclipse IDE for Java EE developer. Okay. So once it is downloaded on your machine, okay. So I have already downloaded in my machine. Okay. So here so just you are downloading Eclipse IDE, so we do not have any configuration setting. Just once you download Eclipse IDE, just unzip the folder, Eclipse IDE folder. So let me already. So I have already downloaded Eclipse and unzip. So here one of the problem most of the users or automation developers will be facing it. So let me open eclipse.exe. So when you are trying to open, when you are trying to launch Eclipse, so whether either Eclipse IDE will not be launched, sometimes we will see this kind of error message pop up like Java was started but returned exit code. So whether you have like how many times most of the developers think that Eclipse IDE is not downloaded properly. So if you download it n number of times and try to unzip and try to launch Eclipse, the same message will be displayed. So the problem is not with the Eclipse. I mean the version the 32-bit or 64, depending on the 32-bit or 64. So if you installed Java JDK 32-bit and you are downloading Eclipse IDE for 64-bit, so then you will face the problem. So let me open. So this is the Eclipse IDE. This is the 64-bit. So I have downloaded. Okay. So Eclipse Java EE Luna version for 32 version. So now I can launch the Eclipse IDE. See, I am able to launch the Eclipse IDE. So make sure when you are installing JDK and Eclipse, so make sure both are 32-bit or 64-bit. If you are installing JDK 32-bit and trying to launch the Eclipse IDE of 64-bit, it will not work. Okay, let me open it again. Let me launch the Eclipse IDE again. So when you are launching the Eclipse IDE for the first time, it will take bit more time. So you can select the workspace, whatever the workspace you want. You click on the OK. Now you can see the Eclipse IDE is launched. So start glowing the Eclipse IDE. SDK. So click on the link developers.android.com/SDK. So download the Android Studio. So which contains it's a bundle of Studio and it is a bundle of Studio, Android SDK and virtual machine. Once you download, it will be downloaded into your download folder of your machine. So open the download folder. Okay. So I have already copied in my machine. Okay. So this is the Android Studio bundle. Just click on install button. So which will install the Android SDK and Android SDK virtual. It will install Android SDK and Android SDK virtual devices. So I have already installed my. Let me show the screenshot. Okay. So click on the next button. Okay. So here you can see the Android SDK and Android virtual devices. So click on next button and accept the agreement, license agreement. And so here note down the where the Android SDK is downloaded, is installed. So it is installed on my machine at app data local Android/SDK. So remember this location, installation location. So click on the next button. Okay. So once the installation is completed, so Android SDK installed in the path. So you can see the path at the time of installation process. So here Android SDK is installed in my app data local query Android. So here is the SDK. Here is the Android SDK is installed in my machine. Next one is setting the path for the Android home. So you need to set the Android SDK path the system variable. So just I will copy this SDK path and click on the environment variable, and you need to already have an Android home. So click on if you have not yet created a system variable for Android home, click on the new button, create a Android home, and enter the Android home as a variable name and just place the Android SDK path. So remember, there should be no semicolon. Okay. So I already have created a system variable Android home. So we need to set the path for the Android home. There are few more tools we need to set for the. So here, so we need to set the path for the tools folder, and other one is platform-tools. We need to set the path for these two folders. Okay. edit this path. So you have seen already we have Android home variable already we have created. So till here the path is already present in the Android underscore home. So just we need to append, we need to add tools and platform and the platform hyphen tools. So here in the Android home SDK the platform tools and the other one is tools. Okay, Android home percentile Android home percentile hyphen slash tools. Okay, so remember at the end try to add semicolon. Okay, once the Android home is set, so once the system variable for Android home is set, so here type open the command prompt and type Android here. So here you can see Android SDK manager. So we will discuss about Android SDK manager later. So it will launch, means your Android is installed and configured properly, and Android home is set properly. Okay. So here Android SDK manager, it will launch Android SDK manager.exe. Since we have set the path, system variable path, okay, for the Android home. So wherever the folder, you may be in some D drive or some E drive, if you type Android, it will launch the Android SDK manager. Okay. Done with JDK Eclipse ID installation and Android installation. The next step is okay, even the platform system variable set for JDK and Android home. So next step is for installing the Appium. Click download and so set the link from the search page. So here you can see different Appium client libraries. Nothing but a different language binding for the Appium. So it supports Ruby, Python, Java, PHP, JavaScript, C#, okay, and robot framework as well. So these are the client libraries. Okay. So if you see in the, so if you are working with instead of if you are working with Java, if you are working with Appium with Python, if you are working with Python or Ruby, so you need not need to install Eclipse IDE. So Eclipse IDE is nothing but the IDE for Java. I mean, so you can have a Eclipse IDE for Python or you can have a different IDE. So you can skip this step if you are working with Appium client, Appium with Ruby or JavaScript or some other language binding. So whatever language binding you are working, JDK needs to be installed. This is the one of the prerequisite software needs to be installed. So we will discuss later why JDK needs to be installed even if I am working with Ruby or Python or some other language binding. So okay, so I am installing Appium for Windows. So we will discuss about client libraries later. Okay. Right now I am downloading Appium for Windows. So download the latest version. This is the 1.4.0 zip is the latest version of Appium. I already downloaded in my machine. Okay. So once it is downloaded, unzip the Appium for Windows folder. Okay, this is the latest folder. So once So this is the screenshots which I have taken for the older version. So it is just 1.4.zip will be there. So once you download it, and once you click on the installation file, here you can see. So Appium installer.exe is present in the folder which we have zipped. Okay. So click on the exe file to install the Appium installation. Okay. So once you click on the installation process, it will guide you with the installation process. So here the installation folder where the Appium will be installed. So at the time of installation, so if you see here, it's downloading node modules. Nothing but it will. So Appium server, it will internally uses the Node.js and npm to work with the Appium server, to start our work with the Appium server. So in the earlier versions of the Appium installation, you need to install the Node.js and Node.js separately. But if you are working with the latest versions, what are the latest versions you are working? So when you click on the, so when you install the Appium.exe, okay, so it will download at the time of installation process itself. It will download the Node.js and npm. So no need of separately downloading and installing the npm. So if you want to launch the Appium after installation, you can just ignore this one. If you want to launch the Appium at a later point of time, just uncheck it and click on finish button. So that's all. Appium is installed. You can see, okay, this is the Appium is installed on my machine, and this is the shortcut added to my desktop. Okay. When you click on this Appium icon, Appium server will be launched. So here is the Appium server is launched. So by default, if you see the settings, general settings, so by default Appium server will be launched at the port number 4723. So when you click on the start button, I mean launch button, so it will launch there. So when you click on the launch button, it will launch the Appium server. Okay. So this is how it works. So right now I'm stopping the Appium server and closing this one now. If you observe the installation process after the Appium is installed, so here you can see the location. Okay. So if you see here, you can see node modules, nothing but at the time of Appium installation. So whatever all the modules are required for node module, I mean Node.js module for Appium is required, it will be installed and configured. So next step is if you want to work with the coding, I mean if you want to write the script and you want to execute on your mobile devices, then you need to download a few of the jar files. So one is the Appium client jar file. So click on this link and here you can see. So if you want to work with the Java, click on Java and it will download the Appium language binding for the Java client. Okay. So already I have downloaded the jar file. This is jar file. Okay, I placed it at different location. Okay, here is the Java client file. So this is the Appium Java client Java file. So this one is the Java file you need to be downloaded. other one is Selenium WebDriver client jar file we need to be download. So here you can see the different language binding for the WebDriver. So I am downloading the Java client library for the Selenium WebDriver. So click on the download. So it will download the jar file. So here it will download the zip file which contains the multiple jar files. So here, so I have downloaded a Java client, Selenium-Java client library, WebDriver client library. You need to set the paths for the Java client, and whatever, if you see in the list, so what are the internal Java files you need to set. You need to set the build path for this Java file. And other one is Java version client, Appium Java version client Java file. You need to set it in the build path. These are the required Java files if you want to work with the writing the scripts. So once all the required softwares have been downloaded, installation is done, Java files are downloaded. So for working with accessing the devices, you need to install the device drivers, mobile device driver. So you can download it from the following URL. So here you can see the drivers for different mobile devices. Okay. So here you can see for the Moto E or something, just download the driver for the corresponding mobile devices and install it. So once the installation is done, so once the installation is done, you need to enable the developer mode. Once the installation is done, you need to enable the developer option mode in your device. So here just scroll down. So click the button here over here. Okay. So this is the Moto E device. I am showing the settings. So how to enable the developer options? If you scroll down, okay. So if you see there is a how I have already enabled the developer options. It is showing the developer options. Okay. So click on the about phone. So just scroll down, and here the bottom you can see the bill number. So you need to click on the bill number 7 times to enable the developer option. So I have already enabled it's showing the message no need. You already have a developer option enabled. Okay. So once it is enabled, so you can see the developer options. So open now developer options are enabled and configured in your device. So now open the developer options. So the next thing is you need to enable USB debugging mode, USB debugging. So enable it and navigate back. So now your device is developer options is enabled, and in the developer options, so you need to enable the debugging mode. So similarly, if you go with Samsung device, okay, so just scroll down. Here you can see the settings. Just click on the settings. So just scroll down. Okay. So in this also, as I discussed, already developer options is already enabled. So click on the about devices. So here also you can see the bill number. If you click on for the 7 times, the developer options will be enabled. See. I'm trying to click. Again, it's showing a message. No need, developer mode is already been enabled. Okay. So again, if you see here, okay, click on the developer options. So here also you need to enable USB debugging mode. So to work with this, to work with Appium if you want to execute the scripts on the Appium on the mobile device using the Appium. Okay. So now the developer options are enabled. Okay. So why is it required? Is it required to enable the developer mode? Yes, it's required. So if you just connect your device, it will be considered as some external drive or external memory card. So it does not consider the device as your, it does not consider, the system will not consider it as a device. So if you want to run some scripts or if you want to perform some automation scripts on your mobile devices, so once you enable debugging mode, so it will consider our desktop or machine will consider the mobile device as a device where we can perform some operations. Okay. So here if you see, okay, tap to the build number field. So you need to touch it 7 times, 7 touches. So for example, in the build number, for example, if you have touched for 5 times, it will show 2 steps away. Again, if you touch it for the 1 more time, it will show 1 step away. So altogether you need to touch the build number for the 7 times, then developer option will be enabled. So here developer option is enabled. So once the developer option is enabled, open the developer option and select USB debugging. Okay. So once the debugging mode is enabled on your machine, so unplug the cable for the unplug the cable which is connected to the device. Again plug it. So you can see the option, allow USB debugging. Okay. So here you need to click on the OK button. Okay. So once allow debugging, USB debugging pop-up appears when you unplug and plug it. You can see this pop-up and click on the OK button. So once device is connected to your machine, just type ADB space DEVICES. So it will show device is connected. So not only this one, even if your device is not connected, but if you are if you have working with emulator, then also it will show the list of devices attached. So let me unplug let me remove the USB, disconnect the USB and type the ADB space DEB. Now you can see there are no devices connected. Let me reconnect it again. So when you reconnect it again, it will show the pop-up allow USB debugging. You can OK button. Let me execute the same thing again. So here you can see the device is attached. So now it is recognizing, your device is recognized. We are done with the installation process of Appium. So in the next demo we will see how to identify the elements in the application and how to proceed with the identification of the elements. So let's summarize the thing. So what are the required software need to be installed on your machine? Install JDK, install Eclipse IDE, download and install Eclipse IDE, and download the Android SDK from the path. Once you download Android SDK and JDK, set the environment variable for JDK Java underscore home and set the path for the JDK bin. Next step is you need to create a system variable Android underscore home and which points to the Android SDK. In the path you need to update the path which points to the Android SDK tools, and one more path need to be added. Another one is platform tools. We need to set the path for tools and platform tools. Okay. So you need to install the Appium on your machine. So when you are installing Appium, it will by default install and configure Node.js and npm. So you need not need to install Node.js separately. It's updated with the latest Appium. Okay. So and other Java files required. One is the Appium Java client library, and other one is Selenium Java client library, Selenium WebDriver Java client library. So we are done with the downloading the Java file. Next we need to download the device driver. You can download the device driver from this link. So you can download it and install on your machine. So this part is for up to configuring and installing the set of a bunch of software on your machine. So next step is these are the steps for configuring on your mobile device. One is enable the developer mode. Once you enable the developer mode options, you need to enable debug mode. So once these two steps have been done, unplug the cable which is connected to the mobile. USB code. You need to unplug the USB cable and reconnect again. So it will show some developer modes. So there you need to click on the OK button. Just open the command prompt and you run the command adb devices. This will show the list of devices connected. Not only devices, not only a mobile devices. If you are working with the emulator, it will show the emulator devices. So thanks for watching the demo. Have a nice day.